All of those need to be accounted for. You can't just forget about being angry because you're a spiritual person, and you can't just forget about, being spiritual because you're angry. I mean, it's all about finding balance in the duality of being a human and all of the emotions that brings to you. It's not one or the other. So if you're overclaiming this role of being a light worker and not recognizing, that you're still a human, you're still experiencing the human condition and all of the emotions that entails, you don't honor that, you may just suppress and repress all of the things that need to come up to heal. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Paige, and I am just gonna be completely blunt and honest in this video because I'm angry. And I hate that is taken and made to be some sort of bad thing about this world, but anger is actually a very spiritual quality that we all have within us, that we're all capable of feeling, and we're all capable of cultivating and honestly channeling into something else. But I just want to talk about it because I feel like people get this misconception that if you're spiritual, if you're a light worker, an empath, a starseed, or whatever the fuck you want to label yourself as, that you can't be what is considered a bad person or a human, if we're being realistic here, because bad emotions, negative emotions, this fear mindset that I talk about a lot is actually just part of the process. It's part of the human experience. So if you don't honor it, you're missing a big part about what makes you you. But first, let me address my anger, because there may be a select few of you out there that are like, oh my God, what did we do? So I just want to let you know right now, this is just me recognizing how upsetting this world can be. And also Mars is in Aries, so I mean, that really fucking does it for a lot of people. But I think right now this world is showing a lot of its colors, a lot of its true colors. The people around you are showing their true colors, and I think it's just making it pretty evident that some people are just unwilling to fucking care about other people, and that hurts me a lot. But it hurts me even more so to see how open some people can be about that, and how willing some people are to advocate for hate and for just demise of other people. And I feel like this has been a growing theme for probably many people ever since, this whole coronavirus thing has happened. As if people weren't being brash and hard-headed before all of this stuff. I mean, there is so much happening right now that is just kind of proving people's inability, or rather unwillingness, to cooperate and to harmonize and to find balance within every situation and whatnot. And if you're someone like me or my subscribers, you probably get really freaking irritated by having to seemingly carry all this weight of being the better person over and over and over again. And that's valid, and I wish we could talk about that more without seeming like you're not a spiritual person. Because like I've said in other videos, being a spiritual person is just a label. Being an empath, being a light worker, labeling yourself anything is just that. It's just a label. It's nothing other than something to kind of describe a part of you, but nevertheless, that is not the end-all be-all of who you are and what you entail. And I think spirituality kind of cuts out the side of darkness because it perceives it as being, this negative, bad energy, when in reality, that darkness, that anger, that depression, that just negative energy actually acts as a catalyst many times for change and for big growth and for big evolution. So if you're overclaiming this role of being a light worker and not recognizing, that you're still a human, you're still experiencing the human condition and all of the emotions that entails, if you don't honor that, you may just suppress and repress all of the things that need to come up to heal. Personally, for me, I find that a lot of my negative, strong, intense emotions tend to be things that are teaching me lessons very actively in the moment through those intense emotions. So the best way that I've learned to handle those is kind of taking on what I call my grumpy cat persona, which is literally feeling my emotions, kind of sitting in them and being exactly that, the grumpy cat, where I'm just like about everything and just letting that kind of be known, but not overly letting it be known. I mean, it's allowing yourself to feel the emotion and claim it as yours, claim it as you, but not allowing yourself to just become this enraged person that is all emotions. It's a balancing act, like it always is. I think that this anger that we cultivate through having to be the better person and through having to heal and really do the work, and then seeing people that don't care at all about that, I mean, that is reasonable anger. I genuinely think that is reasonable. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do anything with it other than recognize it's reasonable and it's valid, and then it just can be what it is. And I think that's the funny part about anger is, you know, even I get into the attitude of thinking that I have to transmute it and change it into something and cultivate it into something. But honestly, sometimes anger just standing alone as it is what kind of allows things to rise and to unfold the way that they need to. Honestly, all of the major life changes that I have made in my life are because I got really freaking angry and I decided to do something with that. Because I recognized that anger, I realized that it was kind of showing me a route that I didn't even think of taking yet. And once again, I'm not saying become this angry, emotional person and then, oop, we're going back to being spiritual. Like, no, you integrate this idea that like you are experiencing this emotion, you are experiencing intense energy, and it has a purpose. That's the spiritual essence of that anger. But the anger itself is still anger. It's still an emotion, and it's still showing you kind of like the right or wrong about how you feel about your reality. And you know, that's not a bad thing, even though it kind of feels bad. Anger and just negative emotions can teach you so much about yourself. Honestly, I think they can teach you more about yourself than your positive emotions and your positive qualities. Because when you pay attention to the things that rile you up and get you angry and get you feeling this passion, intense energy, while it may feel a little uncomfortable because it is so, you know, just energized, that shows something. That really shows this assertion power that you have. And that's kind of represented, like I was saying earlier, by like Mars energy. Mars and Aries specifically is what we're going through until the end of 2020 right now collectively. But specifically though, that Mars energy in your birth chart can kind of show you how this energy leaves your body. So even in astrology, which is heavily correlated with spirituality, there's a place for anger. There's a place for you to take out this overwhelming energy that you have, but you have to kind of learn how to cultivate it and, you know, balance it out with your humanness and your spiritualness at the same time. I mean, all of those need to be accounted for. You can't just forget about being angry because you're a spiritual person, and you can't just forget about, you know, being spiritual because you're angry. I mean, it's all about finding balance in the duality of being a human and all of the emotions that that brings to you. It's not one or the other. It's not picking because this one feels better. No, it's noting that what is here, what is present within you now is what you're working with. And with that energy, there's a lot you can do with it other than just, you know, being angry and projecting it in ways that you've always projected it. You can use that energy, still being angry, still feeling those emotions, but allowing it to be channeled into something maybe a little bit more productive for your own life. At the end of the day, you're not any less spiritual because you are angry, because you feel bad, or because you're anything other than the way that they describe a lightworker, empath, starseed, whatever to be. No, just be you, have those qualities in mind, and balance them out with this version of you that you want to create and that you want to become, because those can fuse together, and the fusion is the most important. It's not the one or the other. No, it all matters, and it all needs to come together in order for it to be whole, in order for it to be everything that you want your life to be. So yeah, honestly, I want to say a quick shout out to my Patreons as well as my friend Kyra for just really helping me work through this energy and understand, because even as an energy reader, I find that it's helpful to use your community to understand as well, because we all experience these things in different ways, and we all have really valid inputs to share about, you know, what to do with this energy and how to actually perceive it and what it may mean and whatnot. So I just really want to say thank you to those guys. If you're interested in joining that community, I always have the link down below in the description box, so check that out. But otherwise, if you like this video and want to see more content from me, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys in a later video. Bye for now.